on me. At the start of my observations, I assumed that you were an active participant in Carlyle's ring here in Rome. It was only after much study that I've concluded you probably did not know what some of your so-called customers were about." "That's outrageous!" He gave her a look of mocking inquiry. "Are you saying you did know what they were up to when they came and went in such a regular fashion?" "I am saying no such thing." She could hear her voice climbing, but there was little she could do about it. She had never been so angry or so frightened in her life. "I believe them to be honest patrons of antiquities." "Did you indeed?" Tobias glanced at a collection of cloudy green glass jars that stood in a neat row on a high shelf. His smile was devoid of all warmth. "And how honest are you, Mrs. Lake?" She stiffened. "What are you implying, sir?" "I'm not implying anything. I'm merely noting that most of the items in this shop are cheap replicas of ancient artifacts. There is very little here that is truly antique." "How do you know?" she shot back. "Never say you're an expert in antiquities, sir. I will not be taken in by such an outlandish claim. You cannot pass yourself off as a scholarly researcher, not after what you've done to my establishment." "You're correct, Mrs. Lake. I'm not an expert in Greek and Roman antiquities. I am a simple man of business." "Rubbish! Why would a simple man of business come all the way to Rome in pursuit of a villain named Carlyle?" "I am here on behalf of one of my clients who employed me to make inquiries into the fate of a man named Bennett Ruckland." "What was the fate of this Mr. Ruckland?" Tobias looked at her. "He was murdered here in Rome. My client believes it was because he learned too much concerning the secret organization that Carlyle controls." "A likely story." "Nevertheless, it is my story, and mine is the only tale that matters tonight." He hurled another pot to the floor. "You have only 10 minutes left, Mrs. Lake." It was hopeless. Lavinia took 2 fistfuls of her skirts and started up the stairs, but she paused midway as the thought struck her. "This business of making inquiries into murders on behalf of your clients, it seems a rather odd sort of profession," she said. He smashed a small Roman oil lamp. "No more odd than selling false antiquities." Lavinia was incensed. "I told you they are not false, sir. They are reproductions designed to be purchased as souvenirs." "Call them what you wish. They look remarkably like fraudulent imitations to me." She smiled thinly. "But as you just said, sir, you are no expert in rare artifacts, are you? You are merely a simple man of business." "You have approximately 8 minutes left, Mrs. Lake." She touched the silver pendant she wore at her throat, the way she often did when her nerves were under a great strain. "I cannot decide if you are a monstrous villain or merely deranged," she whispered. He looked briefly, chillingly amused. "Does it make any great difference?" "No." The situation was impossible. She had no choice but to concede the victory to him. With a soft exclamation of frustration and anger, she whirled and rushed on up the stairs. When she reached the small lantern-lit room, she saw that, unlike herself, Emmeline had made good use of the time allotted to them. 2 medium-sized and 1 very large trunk stood open. The smaller trunks were already crammed to overflowing. "Thank goodness you're here," Emmeline's words were muffled as her head was inside the wardrobe. "Whatever took you so long?" "I was attempting to convince March that he had no right to toss us out into the street in the middle of the night." "He's not tossing us into the street." Emmeline straightened away from the wardrobe, a small antique vase cradled in her arms. "He has provided a carriage and 2 armed men to see us safely out of Rome and all the way home to England. It is really very generous of him." "Rubbish! There's nothing at all generous about his actions. He's playing some deep game, I tell you, and he wants us out of his way." Emmeline busied herself rolling the vase into a bombazine gown. "He believes we're in grave danger from that villain Carlyle, who used our shop as a place to send and receive messages from his men." "Bah! We have only Mr. March's word that there is any such villain operating here in Rome." Lavinia opened a cupboard. A very handsome, extremely well-endowed Apollo gazed out at her. "I, for one, am not inclined to put much faith in anything that man tells us. For all we know, he wants the use of these rooms for his own dark purposes." "I'm convinced he's told us the truth." Emmeline stuffed the cushioned vase into the 3rd trunk. "And if that is the case, he is right. We are indeed in danger. If there is some villainous gang involved in this affair, I would not be surprised to discover that Tobias March is their leader. He claims to be a simple man of business, but it is obvious to me that there is something distinctly diabolical about him."